A story by Nick Wilson, journalist at News 24, really caught my eye. It's based on comments made by the Drinks Federation of South Africa, and they estimate that almost 1 in 5 drinks consumed in South Africa, we're talking about alcoholic drinks now, contains illicit alcohol, and that may in turn include deadly additions such as methanol and even industrial ethanol. So what's going on here? Where is this coming from? How's it finding its way into the South African market? Let's welcome to the show then Dr. Shamal Ramesar, who is head of research at the Drinks Federation of South Africa. Dr. Ramesar, welcome and thanks very much for your time. Is this a problem we can connect, for example, to the restrictions imposed during the COVID era on alcohol, or has this been going on for much longer?
Good afternoon. So yes, we find that illicit alcohol is been in the country for longer than COVID, but it seems that COVID has exacerbated the problem itself because it proved that there was a lucrative market for these type of alcohols in South Africa. So yes, we can say that the lockdown and alcohol bans have exacerbated the illicit alcohol market sector in South Africa.
So, Dr. Ramesar, is this alcohol that masquerades as, for example, being something else? Would it have a label that says either counterfeiting an existing whiskey brand for the sake of argument, or invents another whiskey brand like Highland Fog or whatever? I hope there isn't something called that, but you know what I mean, trying to look authentic? Or is this stuff going in unlabeled bottles and perhaps being sold in bulk in some form?
Well, it's a combination of all that you mentioned. So I think it might be interesting to define illicit alcohol.
Yes.
So the first one is the one that you did mention, and that's the counterfeit and illicit brands. And these are fraudulent imitations of legitimate brands. But it could also then be, unknown bottles or mimicking, known brands where there's falsification and tampering, of the bottles itself. So that's the first type. The second one that we get is contraband or smuggling. And this is alcohol which is original and it's legitimate, but it's being illegally imported or smuggled into the country itself. And basically, another example of this is round tripping, where it's, alcohol taken cross-border, so we pay no duties on them, and then it's brought back into the country, and it escapes the tax system as well. Then you get tax leakage, and this is really where, there's misclassification of products. So, example, you get a sugar fermented ale versus a wine, and because they are classified differently, the manufacturers themselves are paying the incorrect taxes on them, so it's considered illicit. And the last one is something that we know, and that's your traditional alcohol beverages, which are made but unfortunately sold.
Right.
And when they're sold, then no taxes are paid on them. So those are the broad categories that we define illicit alcohol under.
It's important that you've spelled out the range of things going on, because while you were talking, Dr. Ramesar, I'm trying to think, well, what do we do about it? And it would seem, given the range of offences, there's all sorts of players who need to be involved. Obviously, there's you as the industry looking to protect businesses that you've built up over time and with huge investments of money. But then there's obviously excise issues as well. Who's dealing with this? Do we have a strategy that takes into account the multiple manifestations of this broad problem?
And that's a great question. I think it's one of the outcomes of a panel discussion that we held at Gibbs University yesterday, where it was decided that there needs to be a whole of society approach towards tackling this problem. And the whole of society involves the industry itself, but also government representatives from SARS, from the Department of Trade and Industry, from law enforcement, but we also will rely heavily on the public to report these matters, so that we can, get proper intelligence and do proper raids on these type of illegal manufacturers. So, it was decided yesterday that the Drinks Federation of South Africa, should coordinate this type of multi-stakeholder project,
right,
so that we can get the best type of outcomes.
Is there is, for example, the illicit alcohol, in other words, not well-known brands, for example, being smuggled in, but where stuff is being made let me ask the question differently. Is a lot of the stuff being made in South Africa? And if it isn't and is being imported, do we know which countries are the key suppliers?
So it's a combination of both. You would start to see in the media recently, there's quite a lot of busts happening. In fact, there was one in Johannesburg, I think, on Monday, where huge amounts of fake alcohol was being produced. And then there are other similar operations that we have seen being bust in KZN, in Free State, and so on. So South Africa does have its own production facilities. But also, because it's become such a lucrative market, there are global companies, for the want of better words, that are producing these counterfeit brands in a mass scale. And because of our porous borders, unfortunately, we're starting to see them, filter into the country as well. So it's a combination of both.
Let's talk about the ethanol and the methanol. Explain to us what's being done there, and share with us your thoughts on some of the risks for people who might almost certainly unknowingly drink it.
Sure. So whenever the illegal manufacturers try to counterfeit a product, they try to increase the strength of their brew or the alcohol itself, and they start adulterating it with chemicals. So we've run a study last year, actually, at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and we tried to chemically analyze what's in these products. And to your point, we found huge concentrations of methanol or industrial-grade ethanol. Now, these have deleterious effects on human health. For example, methanol in itself causes irreversible blindness. If it's drunk in high concentrations, it causes toxicity of the blood, a condition we call metabolic acidosis, which can lead to multiple organ failure and almost always, accompanied by death. In fact, from our study itself, we showed the consumers actually told us that 29% of them knew of somebody who has physically died from consuming, counterfeit alcohol. Industrial grade alcohol itself also has these effects on the body, including respiratory distress, cardiac failure, and so on. So these products are extremely dangerous to consume.
Thank you very much. Those are the thoughts there of Dr. Shamal Ramesar, Head of Research at the Drinks Federation of South Africa. Illegal alcohol and its implications for health, for jobs, for the collection of taxes and revenue. Is it something you're aware of? I mean, maybe in circles that you move in, maybe people have approached you with what they say are good deals on what might be premium brands. I don't know. It's not a space that I'm involved in, except during COVID, when there was a crackdown on alcohol, I did keep getting WhatsApps offering me wine for sale at extremely inflated prices. And the reason these people had my number was I'd actually got some cats from them. But they thought, well, may as well give him a try. Anyway, that was a long, long, long time ago. 702 Drive, it's 4 o'clock.
News.
Experts.
Analysis.
Where things stand.
What you need to know. Drive home with John Perlman
On 702.